Well, I made it. Made it up here to Alvord, Texas, where we're at. And you know, I was accounting for the cold, but you're driving up here the whole way thinking, you know, what are the things I didn't account for? What are the things I didn't plan for? You know, I guess I'll find out for the weekend. But the first thing I didn't account for is the fact that I'm 4 hours north. We got a little snow or ice at the house. They got a lot more up here, and I'm going into the forest, which means it's probably all still there. So we'll see. You know, might make it a little harder to pick a campsite, wondering what's there, but you know what? That's part of it, right? Look at these beautiful pine trees. This is a little grove of pine trees. It's out of place up here in this part of Texas. That's what makes this one kind of special. I am at the LBJ National Grasslands up here in north central Texas, almost all the way to the godforsaken frozen wasteland that is Oklahoma. Hence all of the extra white stuff. Yeah, we'll see what happens. You know, I'm gonna take the trail. I still gotta pack a few things onto the pack. This giant pack, it's the size of an 8-year-old child, weighs about the same. But you know what? So it is. So it is. We'll see what I don't need. We'll see what I overpacked. We'll see what I underpacked. And yeah, let's get loaded up and get on down the trail. All right, let's load up. See how this goes. I'm ready. Straps. We got it. I'm gonna head out. All right, so we're in here on the yellow trail here at parcel 30 in the LBJ Grasslands. I'm looking for a campsite, kind of like that there. Somebody's had a good time there, but I'm real close to the truck, so I'm gonna keep going. Based on the trail, doesn't look like there's anybody else out here. The snow is nice and clean and fresh. You can hear it crunching under my feet. So nobody's been out here, which I guess that's a good thing, right? I'll have my choice of campsites. So find something that's got perfect trees just the right distance apart from my hammock and get set up. Mostly I'm gonna try not to get my feet wet, try not to bust my ass in some ice. So yeah, that's where we're at. I'm not the only one out here. Of course there's some deer making their way around. So okay, well I think I found my spot. I hiked in a little ways, but I ended up doubling back because I started losing the pine trees and get a little more scrubby. This is really just a little patch, but you know, somebody else would use it, so I'm using it. So here's what we got. Yeah. So I'm gonna get set up right here. You know, you're supposed to test all your gear before you go out, so you know what works, what doesn't. And like I said yesterday, it's kind of a mad dash ordering stuff that I didn't have and stuff that I was going to try to make do with what I had, and this underquilt was one of them. This is my blanket under the hammock to keep me warm from the wind below. And I'm going to have to figure it out. But that's why I brought the instructions. So we'll figure it out together. Okay, I think it's time to do some dinner. Sun's going down. I don't want to be doing it in the dark. But let's grab some food. Let's see what we got. This is a food bag I got off of a Evil Empire shopping website app thing. You guys know what it is. And yeah, it's supposed to be bear proof. I think I've got a better chance getting attacked by a bear down on 4th Street in Austin than I do up here in north central Texas, but you know, never be too careful. Of course, I'm more worried about rodentia out here, rodents of unusual size or even average size. So let's see what we're gonna get. Okay, let's see, we're gonna go with pork jambalaya, Alpine Air Creole style pork jambalaya. Try out this freeze dried goodness. My wife got me this camp stove for Christmas, so that means she is fully on board with this lifestyle choice. Ooh, look at that. Not too bad. That'll do. That'll do. You know, this trip, oh man, when I started making the plans, you know, I was thinking, oh, end of January, Texas, it could be down in the 40s or it could be in the 80s. You know, I better prepare for either situation. And honestly, it never even occurred to me that it could be 15 degrees. I mean, that's not even on my radar. But you know, it just started looking that way, you know, the closer we got. So, you know, I did some buying and did some shopping and, you know, got what I needed. And, you know, it ended up being okay. But I slept terribly. I was up every couple hours for other reasons. And, you know, it just needs to be adjusted. Well, good morning. I survived. Actually, it's pretty nice. The low was 15 degrees at camp this morning, but I felt really good in my little bundle there. Nice and cozy. I didn't sleep for shit, I'm not gonna lie, but it wasn't because of the temperature. It was. Okay, it's evening 2. I had a great day. A nice hike. It was nice and cold. I was happy to get back, and then all right, dinner second night, but this time I am not alone. I got my buddy with me.
Hey to the world.
We are eating this concoction that I came up with, not the freeze-dried stuff. This is beans and rice that I put together through some trial and error, and he says it's good. He says it is YouTube worthy, he said. So here we are. So
They can put the instructions in the comments below. That's good stuff.
there you go. So I'll share this, but we got a little fire going, and yeah, fire's looking good. It took some work to get it there, but you know, it's hard to build a fire on top of snow. Inuit make it look easy. But we got the owls keeping us company. I think it's going to be a good night. He's got his set up there on the hammock. He's braving it up. We'll see how he does. And hopefully I don't hear him fall and slide down this hill in the middle of the night. I feel really bad when I'm laughing from inside my sleeping bag. But this is the last night. So I'll report back in the morning. Hopefully it stays warm in my cocoon again. I've known Nick, man, since we were kids. When I first moved to Texas, my family was renting a place from his terrifying grandfather, and so we lived behind them, his sweet grandmother, and the terrifying Jean. So Nick would be there at his grandparents' house, and and we'd hang out a little bit. But it really wasn't until high school, like I didn't even realize he was living back in the area. I lived out in the country, and he had been living in town for years, and turned out he was living in that same house that I had lived in all those years before. And that was it, man. At some point in high school, I even ended up just moving in with him and his mom, and we've been like brothers ever since. It was a success. I made some adjustments, primarily letting some air out of this mattress. That was a game changer. I think I had it overinflated for the hammock, and remembered reading somewhere that not to blow it up all the way in the hammock, and I let some air out. Man, I slept great last night. Slept straight through from, I don't know, woke up at 4, nature called, but I went back to sleep. But yeah, tearing it down. Let's see, this is a success. Night 2 was a resounding success. Nick's already got his packed up. But yeah, I would definitely do this again, probably even in the cold. There's some gear I'm going to swap out for dedicated cold gear if I do this again, but man, I would say I enjoy it. But now the fun part, getting everything stuffed back in that pack and getting it back to the truck. So that's where we're at. Man, what a great trip. Man, I got no complaints. Even as cold as it was, I enjoyed it, and in fact, I will even go in the cold. When I first started planning my first trip, I wanted to go to Cloudcroft, New Mexico. We were looking at around April, and I told Nick, "Man, I'm not sure I'm ready for that. It's going to be in the 30s, and there might be snow on the ground. Man, that's cold. So let's plan staying closer to home, and how about this?" And joke's on me, because look what happened. But the good thing is, now I'm ready to go to Cloudcroft. Now I'm ready to go anywhere. I enjoyed it. I can handle it, and we'll make it happen. There's some drone footage from the area. This is from I took from the truck, and you can kind of see how small this little area of pine trees is, and how it's just surrounded by the grass and oaks and junipers that you would expect. And so it's beautiful and amazing that it's in this area. So I appreciate y'all for tagging along on this video, and I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you join me on the next one, and have a good one.